Hey, what's going on, RC drivers? Welcome back to the shop. On the workbench today, we've got our JConcepts Retro Clod build. We've already got the regulator chassis on there. We've got our axles all built up. Today, we're going to install the electronics, get the body mounted up, the wheels and tires, and by the end of the video, we're gonna take this thing for a rip. Okay, I really haven't done much to the truck since our first video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link to it at the end and in the video description below. The one thing I did do was pull off the extra set of shocks that I had in the front. If you recall, I wasn't sure if I was gonna run 8 shocks all the way around or just 4. And after feeling the suspension on how it worked, I think the 4 shocks alone will do just fine. Next up, we gotta go and install these little side panels that they include with the chassis kit. It's just gonna be easier to get these in before installing the electronics. So you just gotta cut out the rough edge on the Lexan from the molding, and they give you these decals so you go and apply it and give it a cool racing look. So I'm gonna get that done, and next up we're gonna move on to the speed controller. The sponsor plates are installed on the chassis. Those look really good. Now it's time to move on to the electronics. And for the speed controller, I went with a Hobbywing 880. And from what I gather, these are discontinued possibly. I found this on Amazon for 40 bucks, which is pretty good because it handles both motors. And I've already gone ahead here and installed my bullet connectors, soldered those up, and those are gonna mate up to my Maxium Shorty battery pack that I picked up for this truck. So that's gonna go right into the battery slot area where the posts are, and the speed controller is just going to drop in right next to it. I did go ahead and I already shaved off the little tab that mounts the switch. I'm just gonna mount the switch with some 2-sided tape. And unfortunately, I forgot to get the connectors for the motor. So I am just gonna use these chintzy connectors and wires off of the stock Mabuchi motors for now. Pretend that there's some good wires on here, but like I said, I wanna get this thing up and running by the end of the video, so I'll put those on order and get them at another time. So let me drop this in with just some 2-sided tape, and we'll move on to getting the receiver in. There it is, the speed controller in place. Little tip for you, when you go to stick it down, slide it in with the battery at the same time because it's gonna push out on the sponsor panel here, the Lexan sponsor panel. And if you go just slide it in by itself, the battery may not fit when you go to put it in. So just a little tip there. Then I went and wired everything up. Again, just use those factory wires for now so I get this thing rolling, and zip tied everything together nice and neat so it doesn't kind of move around in there. Next up, I gotta go and install the receiver. That's pretty simple. You guys know how to do that. 2-sided tape, plug everything in. Then I'm gonna move on to the wheels and tires. I'm really excited about this because I've never had this wheel and tire set before. So these are the Goldyear tires, really good looking chevron pattern to these. They come with the foams, and then these tribute wheels. I've always read about, people looking for these wheels because sometimes they're hard to get, but these are a really nice set of wheels. Now I know why everybody wants them. They come with the foam to make up the offset here. They also give you a bunch of adapters. So there's an 11mm adapter, 18mm, and then I think 25, depending on the type of truck that you're building. This is pretty much a stock Clod wheelbase setup here. So I'm just gonna start out with the 11s, try that out, and then I guess I could bump up to the 18s if I want some more stability out of it. And then if I ever lengthen the wheelbase of this thing, I could go with the 25s. But they give you all the hardware for it as well. And I really like these caps that they give you. So they give you one cap that has the hole punched out in the center so you could get to the wheel nut if you want to without having to take the whole cap off. Or they have this one for a more scaled look. So I've got to glue these up. I'm just gonna clean them up a bit with some spray and then glue them up with some CA glue, and then I'll get them bolted up to the truck. All right, so while I'm waiting for my tire glue to dry, I'm gonna move on to putting some decals on this body here. This is the JConcepts Ford F-250, which they were nice enough to paint for me and send over, so I really appreciate that. Really cool looking paint job on this thing. But I'm just gonna throw some decals on there, and then hopefully by the time I'm done with the decals, I'll be able to mount up the tires, poke a few holes in the body, and then we can finally head out and drive this truck. Well, the build's all wrapped up. I've got the tires mounted, they're glued up. I went and bound my Spectrum rugged radio system to the truck, set my endpoints on everything, then decaled up the body, reamed out 4 holes, and look at this, check it out. This thing looks really awesome. I love the look of this truck. There's just something about aftermarket parts like this JConcepts Regulator chassis, these tribute wheels and Goodyear tires. Really awesome. I mean, I can't wait to drive this thing at this point. You guys want to see it, so let's head outside and have some fun. All right, a little drive behind the wheel with the Retro Clod build, and this thing is fun. You want to know why it's fun? Because it just bounces around. It's got this unique sound to it still. And with this new chassis, that weight on the bottom, this thing is pretty planted. It's not blistering fast, obviously, with the motors that we have in here, the way it's geared, but I don't know. There's just something about watching that thing bounce around that is just too much fun. I think it's just in RC people's blood, actually. As you can see, I just set up this little ramp here. Just threw it together with a 2x4 and some wood just to get a little air underneath it. But let's check out the turning radius. There's full turn right there. It's pretty good for just front wheel drive steering. Maybe someday I'll go back to the 4-wheel steer on it. I don't know. I think I like it just as is though. Spin this back around so you can see it. Throw a little brake in there, kick around the rear, like that. I like it, guys. I like it. Just as much as my stock Clod. This is cool. JConcepts makes some great stuff. Love those tires on this beast. Again, that chassis is killer. I think this thing's a solid brick. It's just gonna last. I don't think I have to do a ton of maintenance to this thing. So much fun. All right, let's head back to the studio, guys. We'll do a quick wrap up on this truck. All right, so we'll do a real quick wrap up on this one. The truck is a blast to drive, as you probably already guessed. It was fun to build. The fit and finish of the Regulator chassis is fantastic. The design makes it handle really well. It was just fun all the way around. And if you're a ClodBuster owner thinking about swapping out your chassis, the Regulator Stage 2 kit is one to really consider. I know it's a few bucks right now. You know, the cost of materials is up on everything, but you know what? If you want to play, you got to pay, and it's really worth it in the end, in my opinion. I really want to drive this truck some more. I'm definitely going to watch out for some local monster truck events, maybe hit one up and try it out, you know, in the parking lot, It is a lot of fun. It does get a little old after a while, jumping a wooden ramp. But you know, I think you'll have fun with it if you're in the backyard, just running around in the grass, finding some bigger jumps to go over, or if you have a local monster truck scene that races often, you know, building something like this is fun if you haven't done so already. And you know, again, I think I really want to take this out racing. So thank you to JConcepts for reaching out to us and helping us build one of these projects to show you. Thanks to everybody else that was involved as well. High Tech, Max Amps, Holmes Hobbies, and everybody else that we put in here. Fast Eddie Bearings, Team K&K. Really cool stuff. Definitely support your local hobby shop. See if they have these parts. If you don't have a local hobby shop, I will have links in the description below for online shoppers. They are affiliate links. That helps us out here on the channel. While you're down in the video description, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.